Swamp Fever. Out of all campaigns in Left 4 Dead 2, this is the one that most players groan about when the loading screen appears. Not because it's unplayable, but because it feels different, slower, murkier, and more frustrating than the rest. Released in 2009 alongside the base game, Swamp Fever drops players deep into the Louisiana wetlands. The mission is simple: make your way from a crashed plane through flooded villages and bayous and finally escape on a boat, where eventually you'll meet Virgil. But what seems like a standard run quickly becomes one of the most divisive experiences in the whole entire series. At first glance, Swamp Fever looks impressive. The lighting is different from other campaigns: low contrast, heavy fog, muted greens and browns. The level design leans into realism. It's a wet, decaying swamp with insects buzzing and the constant sound of wind and water. But that same atmosphere is part of why players dislike it. Most Left 4 Dead 2 campaigns like Dead Center or Dark Carnival have bright color palettes, clear visibility, and distinct landmarks. Swamp Fever trades all of that for haze and repetition. Every section looks the same, it's easy to get turned around, and without obvious landmarks, the player's sense of direction starts to fade. Now, that might be intentional to make the player feel lost, but in a fast-paced shooter like Left 4 Dead 2, it becomes exhausting rather than immersive. But the visuals aren't the only problem. The real frustration comes from how Swamp Fever plays. The mud is the biggest culprit. It slows players down dramatically, breaking the game's rhythm. Left 4 Dead 2 thrives on momentum. Constant forward motion, sprinting between safe rooms while managing chaos. Swamp Fever instead punishes movement. You're always knee deep in water, getting stuck, trying to escape while your mobility disappears. Combine that with poor visibility, and you've got a campaign that constantly ambushes you from nowhere. The AI director uses the open map to spawn infected in every direction, often behind players or even inside bushes you can't see through. Special infected become deadlier here than anywhere else. Smokers can pull you into the trees, jockeys can drag you off the path, chargers blend into the fog until it's too late, and the worst part is, sometimes you can't even hear them over the swamp's ambient noise. Swamp Fever's structure also feels different from most campaigns. Each campaign is wide and open, but not in a fun, exploration focused way. It's just easy to lose the flow of progression. The first map, Plank Country, throws you into long stretches of identical swamp terrain. The second, the swamp, continues the same theme but adds even more vertical clutter, shacks, trees, and flooded paths that make navigation tricky. By the time you reach the shantytown, you're dealing with claustrophobic wooden structures filled with blind corners. The finale, the plantation, is often seen as one of the weaker finales in the game. I don't think it's honestly terrible, but it's visually dull and mechanically predictable. Now compare that to the roller coaster escape in Dark Carnival or the bridge run in the Parish. Swamp Fever ends with a static campaign style defense that just feels flat. Still, Swamp Fever has its defenders, and for a good reason. It represents something that most of the Left 4 Dead 2 doesn't try to be: survival horror. It's slow, methodical, and uncomfortable. The level's mood forces players to stick together, communicate, and pay attention. In many ways, it captures the feeling of being hunted better than the faster campaigns. For players who enjoy tension over constant gunfire, Swamp Fever is one of the most atmospheric campaigns in the entire game. And despite its reputation, it's hard to call it bad, it's just different. It breaks the rhythm, and not everybody likes that. So, why aren't people fans of Swamp Fever? It's not broken, it's not unplayable, it's just exhausting. The slower pace, limited visibility, and repetitive scenery makes it less satisfying than the rest of Left 4 Dead 2's campaigns. But that's what makes it interesting to revisit here and there. 15 years later, it stands out for daring to do something different. Whether you love it or hate it, you remember it. Swamp Fever is the kind of level that reminds you what Left 4 Dead really is: unpredictability, moody, and sometimes unfair. It's not meant to always be fun, it's meant to feel like survival. When you're knee deep in mud, hearing a distant witch cry through the fog, barely holding it together with one medkit left, that's when the game stops being an action shooter and turns into horror again. So yeah, maybe it's annoying, maybe it's slow, but it captures something most modern zombie games don't. That feeling of tension, of vulnerability, of not knowing what's waiting just past the mist. Swamp Fever might not be anyone's favorite, but it's one of the few campaigns that truly sticks with you. And maybe that's why, love it or hate it, we keep coming back. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I appreciate all the support. You know, whatever support I do get, I just make these videos for fun because I really like Left 4 Dead. And yeah, just a short little essay on Swamp Fever. No hate towards Swamp Fever. I do play it here and there, just not as much as other people. Some people also choose Hard Rain or Cold Stream, which, but also Crash Course, but Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a good day. Stay blessed and stay safe. Love you all. And yeah, peace out.